1,000 years ago the Earth reached its limit, was destroyed, then a genius watchmaker who went by the name of Y rebuilt the planet using only gears, thus renaming the new planet that he created as Planet Clock. Now in the current world there is a boy called Naoto Miura, a young man with an obsession with watches. Even though he has never been able to fix one, he still hopes that an automaton will come from the sky to fulfill his dream. While he is having these thoughts, a large coffin crashes through his roof. At this he opens it only to see a beautiful woman automaton in an unconscious state somewhere. Maria, and Cheesy is going crazy because a worker knocked over a container that she says was a national treasure that belongs to his family. No, you are a boy with extraordinary curse, being able to use this to discover that the freelancer is unconscious because his equipment isn't working. Even though he's sure of how to fix it, he still can work on his auditory. His auditory abilities allow him to relive his time on high, so he decides to rest, but an explosion occurs where the autonomic woke up and rescued Naldo. He takes away from the collapsing building, and only after he has reached a safe distance the automaton introduces herself to the car as RyuZU. She thanks Naldo for fixing her and asks if he was able to fix it by just listening to the sound of his. And in the car she says yes, that's why she asks. So she asks him to become her master, and he agrees. And on the other hand, Marietta team leaders about gravity, which can cause the mechanical planet to fall. Later she finds out that the military has already decided to expulge the city known as the Kyoto Network. Maria and gets angry because the military are going to kill 20 million people living on that other grid, because they couldn't fix the gravity there. So she makes a call to communication officer Limos to tell him about the military's decision to slide the city at her. Limos connects her to the service chief with a radio, who tells her that the power is off, so it won't be easy to reach the 24th floor. But with the help of her bodyguard, a cyborg known as Walter, Maria gets to where the problem is and reconnects it, restoring power to the process. There are 9 hours and a few minutes left for the purge, and the other watchmakers still can't find an anomaly, but Maria does not give up. She tells the watchmakers to keep narrowing the parts down, but before they can work, the guild tells her to stop after her refusal to withdraw. Maria's license is revoked by the official Limons, where she realizes that Limons is helping the Marine military that she blames for being the reason for the military, but still she knows that it is all the military's fault, so she decides to find a way to stop them in their mission. At the mall, Marie meets Rio South and recognizes her immediately, so Marie tells Anato to give Rivers back, and they are currently in need of her help. His help, however, he refuses to release RyuZU to Marie, and while they discuss what to do, Naldo picks up another anomaly noise of gravity after Maria finishes. He asks him how he was able to hear the noise even before either of them then prayed to Maria that in the self fixed it using only sound, making Maria ask for help from above to solve this situation. You don't want to refuse. Rizal tells him that his little sister is in the basement of power, causing him to change his mind immediately. And in the self reply, it's already too late, because the army already knows. So Nato's exceptional hearing allows him to. He knows that there are 12 automata in the parking lot, so that he can warn the others before they enter. Nato's super hearing gives them an advantage over the automatics, where they can destroy light in moments. Limons then receives the news that Maria is dead. He lies, saying that Maria lost this one in the purge, because he is afraid that people will find out that he killed her with the Vacheron, and unknown to Limons the news he had received is false. Everything he said was recorded by Walter, so they continue their journey. But before they can do that, they are attacked by a bomb that they manage to dodge, thanks to RyuZU after she wakes up in the autopede to marry him, because he has fallen in love with her, so she prays she admits, but rejects him. She can't marry him because his servant then finally arrive at the 24th floor only to find the chief of service with radio the rest of her team. In pressure control, Marie tells them that she will not help them fix the power, but they find this hard to believe. But with the radio she manages to convince them to give her the benefit of the doubt for the sake of doubt, for Marie's sake, and so through her good hearing, he discovers all the 18 anomalies. 18 anomalies in a matter of seconds. The watchmakers get to work and quickly fix 12 of the areas pointed out by Naldo, and as they are in an area that humans can't get to, fixing the last problem with Maria, fixing the 5 remaining anomalies. The watchmakers were happy and grateful. Analto, after he confirmed that the repairs worked but the cleaning begins Ines. The rest are confused about how to the situation, and after much contemplation, the energy production in the auto opposes this idea, making him Maria get into an intense discussion, but RyuZU, who was watching the whole time, decides to sacrifice himself for the good of the city, where the purge goes into full mode and the city begins to fall. However, for the great shock of limos and the army, the city begins to move on again, where the gears of RyuZU allow Maria in the auto invest the gravity, save the city. Walter, with radio, wins a time destroying the automatics. He cries and hugs her tightly, and so when the public learns that the government and the army and the guild were part of the purge, all those involved were punished, including Lemons. In her anger, she goes to the auto and asks him to help her track him down. With her sensitive hearing, with help from Naldo, she finds out that the transmission was from an area around complex industrial complex. When the RyuZU asks what made her husband so angry, Walter says to her, making Maria even more furious. She tells him to sail with her to get the sender, but Rivers refuses Walter. Then he talks about the beautiful beach in the middle to not Otto to go with them. When they arrive in the area of May, they discover it is a dead town where the core and the clock tower ceased functioning a long time ago. In Otto proposes that it must be because an early Y-series unit such as RyuZU existed in the city and used it to support their claim, and helps them get into the factory. They come across a big hole in the floor, and the auto claims that there is something in that hole, but Maria and Walter are reluctant, tells everyone that parts of the tower clock were used to build it, thus leading to the town's death. Marie threatens Roballo, but when she approaches him, an automaton appears. RyuZU recognizes as Anchor, but recognizing RyuZU, she goes into annihilation mode and attacks all 4 at once. RyuZU tells the Anchor that she has one last chance to explain herself before she destroys, and through her hearing and the self perceives that the Anchor is not attacking because she wants to. Instead it is only because she is not having control of herself, but still without the Anchor still attacking, where thanks to Naoto's hearing they can avoid her attacks. And when it becomes clear that she will not stop until they are all dead, Walter stops to say and decides to confront her face to face while trying to save Walter and self-destruct into the deep underground. Maria and shouts, but he claims that it is useless since humans cannot survive in the deep underground. So Maria cries, and this one blames her for killing Naldo once. She is better. She decides to take revenge for herself. To begin with, she kidnaps the governor of the city, May, where she asks the governor what he knows about the giant gun in the deepest floor of Mia's factory. At first, he denies knowing anything but tells the truth after Maria threatens to end the lives of his wife and children. So the governor confesses that Mia's government is working with the military remnants of the purge. He says that the area of Shiva was cleared. Shiva area was cleansed because of an electromagnetic experiment that was against the Maria law. Then he asks why he did not go public with all this knowledge, and the governor said that he would also be killed if he told anyone, and that the gun is only to stop the government from killing me. The governor blames Maria for telling people about the government's mistakes because the government is trying to play nice boy again. On the way home, Maria falls to the ground crying and suddenly a sewer opens right in front of her and Alto and RyuZU come out like this on the auto explain that after they fell an old man helped us to turn on the elevator that allowed them to get back after. Know that Ankuri the giant gun is going to Tokyo and the auto decides to go to Tokyo to save Anchor, so in the auto and Maria dress up as evildoers away the residents of the Tokyo area so that the moment the army and the guns vote the innocent people would not get hurt, so that the fight between the Tokyo army and the weapons comes to an end. Naldo together, and she responds positively. There was a horrified sound. He discovers that the army has failed to conquer the weapon, so now she is coming from deep underground, where the cyborg Anchor informs them that the electromagnetic weapon at that moment all the gears in Akrabara stops one from working, including the automatic ones, while Carasia acts as a consultant for the Ministry of Technology, being that he is just one of Marie's spies trying to obtain information to find a way to demagnetize the Blue River gears, and Marie goes along with him to fix it. Walter, so they meet the gentleman with radio and adult club in the Uno area, where he is put on a hanger to cool down. The gentleman with the radio promises to do as much as possible to find a body for Walter. To Walter, being that the cyborg that had sent the transmission to Marie is shown as a pleasing doll. Marie learns from Naoto that the electromagnetic weapon is being charged, where it will take up to 66 hours to be charged and ready to begin the attack. Maria asks this one what to do before Sugar Ragui, the electromagnetic weapon, can move again. In the meantime, she sees in the car Yanko playing nearby and wonders why he is not accepting the fact that there is an imminent danger, so he tells her that he wants revenge against those who have harmed Rios, where she realizes that he is not to play around so loudly. He tells Maria that they need to take on the Pillar of Heaven to achieve their goal and take the villains to jail, because the Pillar of is the center of all the networks in Japan. Maria then chooses the body of a man to the heavily armed tomato known the brain back into the body of the heavily armed automaton body. In this way that way the old man who helped the actual elevator escape from the underground factory. Meyer's underground factory is the one who is causing all the problems, where he believes that at the high is the Y, so the gentleman with the radio tells Marie that the Japanese government is going to use the strong wind that is a weapon of mass destruction to destroy the Marriott's weapon. Roxanami, that is the princess of the Pillar of Sky, and an old friend of hers about Nato's plan to use the Pillar of Heaven to here, so they can use the heat to destroy the weapon before the government launches the strong wind. After the government sees the false acquisition of the Pillar of, they think that the Roxanami princess is being held hostage, so implants an automaton to rescue her, but Walter. So after killing all his workers, the old man says to the main gun right at the Pillar of Heaven, with this sudden attack, because the gun still had to charge for another 15 hours. While he wonders what caused the change of plans, they hear a man's voice of a man, where they turn around and it comes from a man who helped the self escape from the underground. He introduces himself as Janai Hayama and tells them that he has no interest in a power struggle. All he wants is to challenge Naldo, who he thinks the great clockmaker that rebuilt the planet 1,000 years ago. When Maria, crying Anchor, doesn't wait for a request from Miura before taking off, going to destroy the gun on the auto-sen laughed behind her to convince her to be patient, not to take any drastic action, where in the auto and Maria argue and then work together to fix the gears. When it works out, they create new equipment to replace the old ones, and as the Anchor gets closer the time, she turns on all her power and vows to destroy the weapon by destroying the weapon's clock generators, where even after being tired she does not give up. However, this Anchor is shot in Janae's stomach before completing her mission with him shooting her in the eye, also being caught by the timely arrival of RyuZU and Janai threatens that the cannon,
the main gun, will soon start firing. But nothing happens, so Ryu's
proudly against him about the new gears that were created by Naoto and Maria. After the anchor arrives home,
Maria comes to embrace her stronger than ever.
The story ends when the group decides to travel around the planet
to repair 1,000-year-old gears of age. This is how this story ends.
Comment on Auto to support the video. Thank you, and until next time, watch other videos too.